They are operating on a frequency of 52 megacycles by authority of the Federal Communications Commission. A test program follows. To you who've been trained technically, I need hardly say that there's still a number of problems to solve. I guess you know them as well as anybody knows.
So, that should now be live. So, here we go, week 11, Kote 10, deck breakdown. Game analysis. This week we'll look at games played during the Kote. I've recorded games of qualifying rounds to get up to 593 games.
Ooh.
So that's 593 games was the number of games just to get through the group stages, I take it.
Yeah, for the qualifying round, so that's all the games in the... Shouldn't that be an even number?
Some people didn't play some of their games.
Okay.
Okay. And also buys and drops were not counted. I'm just going to say this. That's a lot of games.
That is a lot of games.
Sorry. So, I'm hoping at some point the screen is going to render. There we go. So the graph shows the winning decks differ from losing decks. So what we're seeing here from the games that were played, it's not too surprising. Efficiency, recursion, and disruption are key. Artifact control, though, is everyone's paranoia, and they go for that for those difficult games, but it doesn't look like it paid off so much here.
Not so much, but again, you gotta remember this is advertised as a casual event. There are people that do bring try-hardy decks, but a lot of people, when you say, oh, there's a Saslock and no bad cards, they immediately worry that everyone's gonna bring
Heart of the Forest.
a Heart of the Forest, and then nobody does. Every time someone's complained, oh yeah, there's just gonna be nothing but Heart of the Forest decks. We've had like 4 or 5, but they've not really won that much.
I mean, the only time Heart of the Forest was causing issues when we then had to introduce a time limit.
Yeah, that's because that was a never-ending game because both players had such good decks.
Yeah, and yeah, it was a difficult one, but it was a hard decision, and we don't like changing rules. Don't get me wrong, especially not mid-event.
I don't think Dominic will ever forgive me for that.
I think he will. Or forget, one or the other. I haven't spoken to him for a while. I must catch up with him. But yeah, creature protection, and I still want to know what goes into other. Well, considering how important other is in this chart.
Mexican versus deck. Other. So other is things that are more hard to balance. Autoencoder.
Okay.
Autoencoder is counting that, key charge is counted in that, so it's kind of like it's kind of things that are more situational, like Lord Invidious counts as other.
Makes sense.
It's mainly key cheats and like stealing your opponent's creatures.
No, makes sense. It makes sense. The fund cards, basically.
Yeah.
So we're going to move on now to the winner sets. So, and this I find fascinating. Not the fact that Sauron is so low, it's the fact that Shadows and Logos, given how they are the most popular houses by a mile, are negative.
Mr. Cogs in the chat saying that the mat arrived today.
Awesome. Okay, wasn't quite as good as Pandas, but still got there. Awesome. We hope you like it. We want to see it in action.
You've got to remember on that side of it, the amount of decks that were brought is going to skew the numbers.
I suppose, yes, that's definitely true. But, Untamed and Dis... So, if you want to have the best house according to this stats here, you want Untamed, Dis, Mars.
Well, you got to think how many Mars decks were brought.
Yeah.
How many of those decks were Martian Generosity, which...
Wasn't many, actually.
Not so many, but there wasn't that many Mars decks to begin with. But if everyone's bringing Shadows and you're facing against someone with Shadows, well, then that's going to be a 0 in terms of the percentage of the win rate, because you're going to have 1 win, 1 loss, which evens out.
No, you're right. You're right completely.
But this having 8.3 seed, it was like 3rd or 4th biggest house brought.
Fourth, yeah.
The power of this and why it had to be removed.
And also it proves that what I will say is Untamed is there as an awesome house.
And Saurian just proving that, although powerful, they're very situational.
They're easy to counter now. I'd say when Wozglide came out, they weren't, but now they are.
Yeah.
So moving on. Oh, do we have an... Oh, I missed the slide out, so I win a set. Sorry. Apologies.
I think you missed sets.
Yeah, I just jumped back to sets now. So, I'm not too surprised by seeing this. So we're saying, Call the Archon's 21% chance of winning, Wozglide 8.2, Mass Mutation negative 8.9, and Dark Tidings negative 16. So I think Dark Tidings makes sense. It's the sets that people know least well. So I'm not too surprised to see that so negative.
You say least well. It's been... Jesus, when did Dark Tidings
6 months, February or March.
Yes, it's been almost a year.
Well, see, 6 months. So May for some people.
Yeah, so between 6 and 9 months. I mean, people will have a pretty good handle on the set. It's more not knowing how that set interacts with other sets, because a lot of people will practice Dark Tidings versus Dark Tidings. They'll have a lot of sealed, but there's not been big events for people to actually test Dark Tidings and Mass Mutation out against the other 3 sets. Correct,
that is true. I mean, but the Kote win rate here is unbelievable in my opinion.
Not really. Kote's still, for me, by far the most powerful set. It is just a literal set of play good things and win. Age of Ascension is more board and combo based. Wozglide is definitely more board based.
Mm-hmm.
But Call the Archons will always be one of the most powerful, because it's simple, because you don't need a board to win with Call the Archons. You can literally just win by playing 3 or 4 cards each turn and watch your opponent go, okay. And then, especially with the board wipes for most of the houses, if your opponent relies on a board and you don't, as long as you can control your opponent's board and keep playing cards, you'll come out on top.
No, definitely.